The world around us didn't just happen. It was designed. And most often, it was designed by people who refused to accept the word impossible. We are used to measuring power in terms of armies, oil, or nuclear warheads. But there is a power far more subtle and absolute. The power to define how humanity interacts with reality. Steve Jobs was not an engineer. He didn't know how to write complex code, and he never soldered a single circuit board with his own hands. But he did something far more dangerous. He turned a piece of glass and aluminum into a new global religion. He forced us not just to use technology, but to desire it, to feel it, and to identify ourselves through it. Today, on Unfolded, we complete our series on the greatest titans of the modern era. We are unfolding the story of the man who created the reality distortion field. How did a college dropout hippie living in a garage force the entire planet to think different? Why was his exile his greatest gift? And is the world he left us a triumph of freedom, or the most beautiful digital cage in history? This is Steve Jobs, the final piece of the puzzle. It began in 1976. Two Steves. Wozniak was the brain, the man who could make microchips dance. Jobs was the soul, the man who knew how to sell the future. In an ordinary suburban garage, they built the Apple I. But while Wozniak was happy just because the machine worked, Jobs was already obsessed with how it looked, how it smelled, and what font it displayed on the screen. He didn't want to build a tool for nerds. He wanted to create a bicycle for the mind. But his passion was a double-edged sword. Jobs was arrogant, tyrannical, and often unbearable. He divided people into gods and garbage, recognizing no middle ground. His perfectionism was terrifying. He would force a circuit board to be redesigned 5 times just because the traces on it looked inesthetic, even though no one would ever see them. In 1985, the board of directors had enough. He was ousted from his own company. It was a public execution. Steve was 30. He was a multimillionaire, but in the eyes of the valley, he was a failure. Most men would have retired, but Steve Jobs was just getting started. The next 12 years became Steve's years in the wilderness. He founded Next and bought a tiny animation studio called Pixar. It was then that he realized the ultimate secret. Technology without a story is just hardware. Pixar taught him how to touch human hearts. Next taught him how to create perfect operating systems. By 1997, Apple was 90 days away from bankruptcy. They were desperate. They bought Next, and along with the software, they got Steve back. What followed went down in history as the greatest comeback in corporate history. He didn't return with a 100-page plan. He returned with an eraser. Steve cut 70% of Apple's products. He fired entire departments. He famously drew a 2x2 grid on a whiteboard and said, "We only need 4 products. Desktop, laptop for the pros, and for the people." The cult of simplicity was officially proclaimed. He threw away everything unnecessary to make room for what was to change the world forever. 2007, the Macworld keynote. Jobs announced 3 revolutionary products: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communicator. And then he said the legendary words, "These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device." The iPhone didn't just kill BlackBerry or Nokia. It killed the old world. It changed how we sleep, how we eat, how we fall in love, and how we start revolutions. It was the ultimate expression of his reality distortion field. He convinced us that we needed a device we didn't even know was possible. But perfection had a price. His health was fading. He was fighting a battle that even his iron will could not win. Yet, even as his body weakened, his mind remained focused on the next curve, the next font, the next one more thing. We have unfolded the stories of 6 titans: Elon Musk, the man who wants to leave this world; Donald Trump, the man who wants to disrupt this world; Vladimir Putin, the man who wants to challenge this world; Xi Jinping, the man who wants to control this world; Kim Jong-un, the man who wants to hide from this world; and Steve Jobs, the man who redesigned this world for all of them. These 6 men are the architects of the reality we wake up to every morning. Their moves determine the price of your bread, the security of your borders, and the content of your thoughts. This was Unfolded. Our legendary week is complete. The board is laid out. The secrets are exposed. Now the question is for you. What will you do with this knowledge? The world is always in the process of unfolding, and we will be here to show you the truth. Subscribe hit the bell. See you in the next season. Remember, stay hungry, stay foolish,